welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm so excited that you're here today because I'm going to show you this big flowery Valentine's Day themed cottage. I'm so excited to show this to you because if you remember last year, I made a Valentine's Day themed build. It was a smaller but still decently sized cherry and spruce themed house. And so this year, for Valentine's Day 2026, I decided to go a little bigger and a little further out of my comfort zone and build this. And I think it turned out really beautiful, so I'm so excited to give you a tour. So I'm going to show you the outside first and explain some of my thought process behind this build. As you can see, it's a pretty decently sized, pretty big house with a huge floral theme to go along with it. I wanted to make sure that it included both flowers and Valentine's Day sort of love themes. So I have included some heart and flower motifs throughout the build. And this took me roughly around 6 hours to make. And so we'll start over here. You'll see I included some pink petals and wildflowers, along with this huge focal point, which is this flower-shaped window with honey and yellow glass to kind of serve as the pollen of the flower. And then on the other side, I also have a window that I love a lot, this pale oak heart-shaped window with some pink glass. So for this build, before we get too much closer, I want to talk about how I've actually used a lot of blocks that I either haven't used before or very rarely build with. So this was a lot of fun to make using those, using some of the new blocks from the newer updates, and so let's do a little 360. So we started at the front, let's go to the side, and then the back, and the other side, and background to the front. And I was going to show you guys a speed build or even a tutorial for this build, but since it took longer than I was expecting and I built it as I went along and came up with the idea as I went along, I'm going to show you a tour instead. But don't worry, I have a free schematic that I'm linking for you down below. That way you can remake this for yourself if you would like to. Let's go on inside. So right away, at first you'll notice this entryway. I used some end rods and pearlescent frog lights for the lighting piece, and then we have a little bench, and I love using the heart pottery sherd to make the pots with the cute little hearts on them. I think it's really cute, so I was excited to use that here. And I loved using a mix of leaves. In this build, I used cherry, I used azalea, and I believe I used oak in some places, which you'll see coming up later. And so that's the entryway. And then I also love the details that I've been using over here with the spruce stairs, shelves, and trapdoors. And I continued this throughout the build, especially on this first floor. So after you enter, you come forward, and then on the left-hand side, you'll have your smelting area and your kitchen / crafting as well. We have a little sink here, and then a little cutting board and a cake, and then we have some of our main crafting blocks in the middle, along with some smokers to make some food, and then some auto smelters on the sides. And then over here we have our storage. This isn't meant to be a massive long-term storage, but you could of course expand this if you would like, or even add a basement to this build. And you will see we have some barrels and chests side by side. You can hold a lot of things here. And I really love, if you look closely, you can actually see I did a little glass gradient in the corners, which actually adds this really cool, colorful effect if you take a step back. And then there's also lighting. By looking down, you can see more pearlescent frog lights. I really loved using those in this build, since I don't normally get to build with frog lights often. So it was really fun too today. More end rods, and then we have our little mini armory display section with a mace. But you can of course put anything here that you would like. I put some pink armor on one of the armor stands because Valentine's. I think pink is a very Valentine's color. And we also have this pretty heart-shaped pattern on the floor. Under this there is another cherry log to complete the heart, but then I had to add the staircase. So we have this heart here, and it leads us into the living room. Now, of course, if you are just planning to use this as a survival base, which this build is 100% survival friendly, you could choose to completely omit this part of the decoration, and of course you can decorate any of this however you would like. But I thought this was a nice little cozy area. You know, you could have some of your friends over and just hang out and chat here in this space. I used some of the new paintings that were added not too long ago as well. I think this one's really interesting. I believe it's called Bouquet, probably because of that bouquet in the middle. So I figured with the flowers, it's pretty fitting for Valentine's Day. Again, using the heart pots as much as possible wherever I can. I love sneaking them into a build. And we have a mini little garden / farm if you wanted to get some crops quickly. We even have some sugarcane and more frog lights, but this time we have different frog lights than the pearlescent ones. This is the downstairs area. I'm just gonna walk through it one more time so that you can kind of get a feel for it. I added some shelves up there as well. I forgot I added those, but you have some display food items up there as well. And this is that heart window, but from the inside, as you saw it from the outside a bit earlier. Let's go upstairs. Okay, so now we're upstairs. We're on the second floor. And this is our little kind of entryway to the second floor. You see we have a room here, a room over there. And if you look closely, I forgot to decorate it. And that's why the door is still left open. But we have a little hidden room over there that we'll get to in a minute. So I really enjoyed using a glass gradient here. I've seen some inspiration. Some builders use glass gradients in builds, so I wanted to try one out. And this was really cute, I think. It uses white, light gray, pink, and then finally magenta glass on top. And then turning around, we can enter this room. This is the bedroom. This is probably one of my favorite places in this entire build because it's so pink. And pink is, of course, my favorite color. So I was very happy to build this and make it super pink with all sorts of pink blocks. We have, again, another heart-shirred pot. No surprise there. There's the azalea leaves I mentioned earlier, cherry sapling. We have a little jukebox for a music area. And then we have a couch. Again, you could have some friends over chill on the couch. You know, you could also just swap this out for maybe another mini storage area or something like that, maybe a little area for your pets. You can actually use dead coral fans as a sort of carpet, so that's a really neat trick that I learned. And then we have the bed over here. This was one of my first times building with the shelf blocks, so I really enjoyed using it as a way to create a nice detailed headboard with a lot of depth. And then we have some more planters over here, and I love the way that the pale oak trapdoor kind of frames the cherry leaves. I think it looks really elegant and classy. And then we have some chiseled bookshelves. Again, you could put whatever you would like here. And we even have the dragon egg over there. Look at that. But I added some more capes here, and we have a little windowsill. And yeah, I think this is a really cozy little area, so really happy with it. Let's go back out and turn right, and this time you will see our enchanting / brewing area. We got some copper golem statues. We got some storage for the brewing. Again, more pearlescent froglights and more end rods. And over here we have a little pool or billiards table. I, to be honest, wasn't totally sure what to put in this space. I figured that this could be a very flexible space to put whatever you would like in it, such as a dining table. You could maybe, again, have an area for your pets or more storage, since I believe this is just on top of the storage area we have downstairs, so you could totally continue that. But I wanted to add this nice little lounge area. And then we will continue into this secret little room over here. And in this little room, we have a few windows. Again, I forgot to furnish this, so that is my bad. But that just goes to show that you can use this room for whatever you would like. And you could even try and make it a fully hidden room if you wanted. Maybe remove this shelf and try to hide it somehow. Maybe a redstone door, something like that could work. I'm not totally sure. And then you could have a little secret nook for just you. So I really like this room. Originally it wasn't meant to be a room. It was just meant to be a way that I could have these windows here to spice up the roof. But I'm really glad that it works. Let's go back downstairs and back outside. And that is it for the interior. There is actually enough space to create a third floor via the attic if you would like to do that. I did not for the sake of this build, but you totally can. And that is all I have as far as the build goes. Again, really proud of it. On the roof we have a lot of floral details, and this is where that little hidden room was before, right down here. But I wanted to add some larger than life flowers up at the top to really give it that wow factor. So we have a little tulip and another pink flower over here. Really enjoyed using the cactus blossoms, as you can see. It was my first time building with those as well. And I used a lot of different floral blocks. Of course, if you do decide to build this for yourself using the schematic, you don't have to include all of these different blocks. I know that they might be hard to get, especially since you would have to go to so many different biomes in order to collect all of these. So you do you. Whatever you want to put on the roof works just fine. You could totally cover it with a different block. You could just use a wood instead of moss. But I think the floral details really add to the overall look and aesthetic of the build. So we will do one more 360 just to go all the way around. And if you enjoyed this build, please consider leaving a like. It really helps out my channel a ton. In addition, you can also check out my Ko-Fi page in the description, where I have the schematic linked so that you can download it. It's totally free, and then you can use a mod such as Litematica, or if you're on Forge and use Forge mods, you can use Forgematica in order to be able to import the schematic that way. I also forgot to mention the pink glazed terracotta down here for the kitchen floor. I really love that. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Happy Valentine's Day wherever you are, and I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you guys next time. I might actually make this into a tradition, so let me know if you would like to see that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Goodbye!